to see if she's going to be on the call as well.
Yes, I'll do that.
Thank you. And we are live. It is 3 o'clock on a Saturday. Natural Resources, Agriculture, and Open Space Subcommittee. I'm your chair, Regina T. Boyce, and we are here to discuss two bills, HB 934 and HB 1087. I want to start, if we can, with HB 1087 because the other bill is going to be a bit of a longer conversation, and I want to be efficient with time, but also want us to get out in enough time to enjoy Saturday. So with that, oh, is Patrick on? Oh, we don't have Patrick. That's kind of important.
Okay, can I ask a dumb question? Do we have
That's a dumb question.
a reprint on 1087 or we just have the bill?
Patrick
should
is
have-
joining now.
He's
I
joining
mean,
now.
I may have it. I just need to know how much I have to search for it because I have 934. The reprint on 934, but I
Oh,
don't.
okay. Well, I'm sure we
I
can
can look
take
for
care
it.
of that. Hold on. Let's go back to my calendar. I usually have Leslie put them in the calendar. So if it's not in the calendar, we may not actually have it. And I do apologize if we don't. No, we don't. We can discuss it. Hey, Patrick.
Hello.
I wanted to make sure you were here before we discussed. I wanted us to start with 1087, the Wacomico County Sunday hunting and archery hunting
Okay.
safety zones.
Okey-doke. Oh, this bill is basically this same thing we passed for Worcester County yesterday, except for it's for Wacomico.
With the
You
with the
need-
restriction of times.
Yeah,
Well, you need to add that by amendment.
Got it.
and Madam Chair,
Yes.
I'm trying to pull it up, but I think where we left this bill was about the archery safety zone, which was not in,
That's correct.
in the other one.
Yes, it was in the other one.
It was?
Yeah, the Worcester
Which,
County.
you're
had
talking
archery
about
safety zone.
the Carroll County bill?
No, the Worcester. The Calvert was unfavorable.
I mean, not the Calvert. I'm sorry, I said Howard County.
Worcester, the one you had on the floor this morning.
Yes.
That was basically identical to the Wacomico.
No, I would have had issue with that if I had seen that.
But I think, if I'm correct, it was existing.
Well, they all have existing safety zones. Every county has. There's a default 150 yards or feet. I can never remember which it is.
Yards. So-
Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm trying to find the reprint on this bill. I apologize for not having that ready, but I think that what this bill was expanding that to 150. And I spoke to Delegate Anderton and he was okay if we go to 100, and I would be okay with that.
I also have to make another point about that, but go ahead, Delegate Jacobs and Delegate Otto.
Well, what I wanted to say was, if you recall, ladies and gentlemen, 20 minutes ago, we voted on the Worcester County bill, which was 1030 and 50 yards, 20 minutes ago. So it's keeping the two counties that are right together the same, which were local bills. Thank you.
Otto, then Teresa.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd move the amendments if that's appropriate right now.
Which amendment are you moving, Delegate?
The
time restrictions?
amendment to the time restrictions on the additional Sunday hunting days. to
Okay,
10.
and that is, just to be clear for everyone else, that is a half an hour before dawn up until 10:30 on Sundays. Is there a second?
Second.
On new Sundays, for the record.
On
not
new
the-
Sundays, yes. Is there a second? I'm sorry, I didn't hear it.
Second.
All in favor of the time restrictions on new Sunday huntings in 1087, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Who's opposing?
That Delegate Baker?
Delegate Baker's, he's not on.
Delegate Baker. I thought it was
Who
Delegate
opposed?
Otto.
I thought it was Otto.
Otto, you're, no,
No,
Okay.
I second the motion.
oh, I was
moved
about to say, that's what I
amendment.
thought. Someone said no, and I was like,
Someone
who is
said-
talking? Okay, so we have adopted those amendments, and so we're still on the discussion of the bill as a whole, as it relates to the archery safety zones. Delegate Ruth.
Thank you so much. And I apologize. What was the number of the Worcester bill? I was trying to call that up and
It was
I thought you said
467, I believe.
466.
466.
466.
Thank you.
There's a crossfire on this, isn't it, Patrick?
Yes, Senate Bill
Yes,
796.
796. They just had a hearing
And
about.
that doesn't change that. Well, that changes that distance to the 50 yards, right?
I'll check. Let's see here.
So I also want to make the point too, in general, that I guess when we talk about fairness and parity, even if there is reservations and things that we do not like, for some who don't like the distance, there are other, just to put it out there, there are other counties that have these same hunting safety zones. For instance, we just passed Natalie's bill as it relates to archery, but also having to be in a quote unquote downward position, whether it was from a tree or a stand or however those things go. So I do want to just put that out there for folks to think about. Delegate Tarasa.
Yeah, I want to be, okay, so a couple of things. I want to be really clear on the bill that Natalie presented. That is very limited in scope.
Sure.
So that is not for all hunting. That is for managed deer hunts and for those using a crop protection, doing that for crop protection. So it was very limited in Howard County, but I'm just somewhat upset that, and maybe I just missed it, but I had no idea that's what we were discussing yesterday with the other bill. And it's definitely the idea that we would then piggyback on that really bothers me because I don't remember having any discussion about the archery zone on the one that was voted yesterday. And I also talked with Anderton, who was fine with either taking it out or doing 100 instead of 50.
Okay. Delegate Ruth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I'm looking now at HB 466, and it does actually reduce the safety zone to 50 yards for Worcester County. And I did miss that. And I mean, if these two counties are really next to each other, I blame myself for not looking better at the bill, and I will drop my objection to it in this bill.
Does anybody else want
add to that though?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I just hope going forward that if something like that is also in a bill that's not, that we don't know is there. I mean, it seems to me that should have been in the summary of the bill, and I'm a little upset by not knowing that. I mean, obviously we could read the bill, but if we're talking about if we have somebody summarizing the bill, I think we can rely on that as the summary of what we're voting on.
And just to be clear, in the bill decreases the archery hunting safety zone.
Right.
Delegate Otto.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. We were trying to make a simple bill out of it. This archery zone is incidental in it that we were putting it into a category with 10 other counties, just moving Worcester's law into a different category that accepted those things. And that wasn't the intention to make a big change. But if we're going to complicate things, if we change it now, if the county commissioners are happy with it, I'm happy with it in Worcester County. But if they want to come back next year and we make a different category for Worcester County with a different length of distance, I'd be happy to. But I'd ask you to, or Wycomico in this case, let's move forward with it. I mean, the
Okay.
density of our housing isn't like some of the areas you may represent. So it's not like somebody's
fair.
going to be right on your front yard or something.
Right. So
Doing this.
thank you, Delegate Otto. And two, I think the comment I just saw in the text, the bill states for archery hunters, it's in Allegheny County, Calvert, Carroll, Cecil, Frederick, Garrett, Hartford, Montgomery, St. Mary's, and Washington counties. The safety zones extend 50 yards from a dwelling, house, residence, church, or building, or camp occupied human beings. And then for archery in Anne Arundel County, safety zones extends 100 yards. An archer hunter in Hartford County must be in a tree and when hunting within 50 to 100 yards of a dwelling house or so. Yeah, Montgomery County and Washington counties must be in an elevated position that allow the hunter to shoot in a downward trajectory, just like we voted for in the Howard County bill. All right, we're going to do Delegate Terasa and Delegate Ruth, and then we're going to round up discussion.
Oh, sorry, Madam Chair. I, from my perspective, we should note that more than half the counties do not have a 50-yard safety zone. So I appreciate that there's these 10, but more than half of them don't. I'm very worried about the safety of these. And yes, they can be up, like they can be up to 50 yards away from your house. They can be up on the property line. So I don't see this as a little change, and I'm sorry it wasn't discussed yesterday, but I don't think this is a little change in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. Delegate Ruth.
Thank you. Actually, I was going to say the same thing as Delegate Terasa, that it's over half the counties that don't have this, and it is a safety issue.
Okay.
But I did say that I would drop my objection to it.
Yeah. I think one thing I want to say, and this is not an advocacy for or against, is that at least when I look at these, I look at, our state is different. Allegheny County looks different than Baltimore City. Baltimore City looks different from Montgomery County. Montgomery County looks different than Washington County and all these places. So I tried to think about what the landscape actually looks like when I'm thinking about these hunting bills. And so I'm hoping some of that can also help folks think through this as well. Delegate Stein.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I want to second your comments. There is, in so many ways, our state and its landscape, does vary. And just for me personally, I tend to want to defer to local courtesy on these issues.
Thank you, Delegate Stein. Any other discussion?
I'll move the bill as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any objection? All right, Delegate Terasa objects. Thank you so much. Okay, HB 934 is a bit interesting. And I think I want to start first with Emily Wilson, who's I had a conversation with. And as I understand it, the amendments we have on the bill thus far are helpful, right? We've moved this into the appropriate, actually, let me open up this file. We've moved it into the appropriate code. And we've also made sure we made a reference to antlerless, I can't even say it, deer. And so I understand from Emily's position, there are just some questions and some tweakings that also may need to happen to make sure we're clear about the intent of the bill, and especially as it relates to killing contests, although the bill in the past regarding killing contests it does not include deer. So Emily, could you inform the body, please?
Right. I think the amendments that I saw that changed the terminology to antlerless, which is regular terminology that's used, and then changing the place in the code to the 10404 section of subtitle 4, the Natural Resource Code, that alleviates the concerns from the legal standpoint. So our attorneys general would not have a concern of the legality of these at that point.
Okay. There was a mention about potentially having to speak to potentially a specific animal or specific species in this this realm that would probably help as well. And I don't know if that still stands. Emily, if you wanted to speak to that or not.
Right. And, it's a delicate situation for the department because we, are really looking at trying to manage these species from an ecological perspective. We are more looking at seasons and bag limits based on the biological carrying capacity of different species. We also look at native versus non-native, and I think a Sika deer was mentioned yesterday. Those are a non-native species.
Okay. Delegate Ruth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to check on the, and I didn't hear this mentioned, and maybe I missed it, the suggested amendment to change random contest to raffle program. And I think that was suggested by Jennifer Bevan-Dangle, and I thought the emails I saw, there didn't seem to be an objection to that.
Let me pull up, sorry, keep talking. I want to pull up the actual bill.
I'm done. Thank you. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Delegate Terasa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess I don't understand this bill at all. I mean, I know that's not a surprise to anybody, but I don't understand why we're looking at hunting contests. Didn't we go in the other direction with other types of animals recently? I don't know why we're considering any kind of competition for killing animals.
I'm sorry,
Is there I guess I don't understand why we're I thought we passed a law to go in the other direction. I can't remember exactly what that was, but it was so that we weren't doing, rewards for killing animals.
I believe in this case, rewards wouldn't be given. I think it would be so much more of a raffle ticket given in order to be able to hunt for more, not necessarily getting a prize. And as I understand it, and I think Lindsay Thompson may or may not have been able to be here, but she was really talking about that as in killing contests tend to be you kill and then you discard versus killing or hunting and then passing on potentially to an association or someone who would then process, for instance, deer meat and give it away to either families or put on for sale. Delegate, I'm going to go Delegate Otto. I'm going to go Delegate Stein, and then I'm hoping, Lindsay is here, and then I'm hoping to ask Lindsay Thompson some questions. Otto.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. In 2020, we passed a bill out of the House that dealt specifically with foxes and coyotes.
Yep.
I think there was one other item or animal. And we specifically during that discussion excluded deer or made sure that deer weren't part of it, because this has been an ongoing program that the Farm Bureau, the Maryland Grain Producers, and others have put together to manage the deer populations in that short season in January. It's a sort of an incentive for people to go out in the cold and to process the meat and it go to the food bank or other charities and utilize them in a fair fashion. That's much better than a crop damage permit in the summer. And it's been successful, and we wanted to be sure it was still available to do. And that was the discussion then. And then I guess the lawyers got involved, as Emily mentioned, and thought there was some issue with them having that this past fall, even or this January, though it did take place.
And so just for clarification, Otto, you would say that this bill helps continue on.
Yeah. And that was
programs.
the purpose of the bill. I think Delegate Hutchison had in mind was because of the issues that DNR officials had raised, but it was very clear, and Dana can share with it that he was we were all part of that discussion at that time. And
Yep. Awesome. Thanks, Otto. Delegate Stein.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Delegate Otto. Yeah, it was my bill introduced first in 2020, then passed in 2021, dealt with killing contests involving foxes, coyotes, and raccoons. And as I think Lindsay mentioned in her testimony, she and I had an email exchange in 2020 where she asked if this particular raffle contest would be covered by the bill, and I said no. I mean, and the bill does, very specifically, I mean, it just covers three types of critters, and deer are not among them.
Thank you. Delegate Terraza, let me go to Lindsay, and then I want to come back to you, Delegate Terraza. Lindsay, keep your hand up though, please.
Yes, thank you. No, so Delegate Boyce, you definitely covered the issue with the difference between this harvest challenge and a killing contest. Delegate Otto covered kind of the history, and thank you, Delegate Stein. I guess the one outlying thing is, why this is in 10404 as opposed to the killing contest statute. That is twofold. I believe Delegate Hutchison shared with you yesterday, Delegate Boyce, an email from Brian Eiler at the Department of Natural Resources referencing 10404 and asking that we clarify under that section that this raffle program is an allowable program, right? And then we also spoke with Jennifer Bevan-Dangle with HSUS, who indicated, and I believe also sent an email yesterday saying that if moved out of the killing contest statute, that they would be no position. So
thanks, Lindsay. And we already have amendments to that. We've had them since yesterday. I guess the question is you said still under 10-404, there needs to be additional clarifications. And I think and if Jennifer is on, I'd like to ask her about that, the clarification. And I think she had sent the language and it was like highlighted raffle.
Yes,
Jennifer, are you there?
Yes, Madam Chairwoman. So we did speak with the sponsor about making one additional change, and it's a very small one, but we think it clarifies the intent of this bill in a meaningful way. It's just to change where it currently says random contest to instead say existing raffle program in the state. And it's our understanding that the legal hurdle to this raffle program is because of the compensation. That's why putting this back in 404 will actually better address the legal issue. It's not being prohibited because of Delegate Stein's killing contest ban. So we think overall this change is really important, but that last tweak does help clarify sort of the scope of what this is trying to address.
Yeah, okay.
Madam Chair, can I ask Jennifer something?
Yes, Jennifer.
Jennifer, do you have that amendment in front of you?
Yes, I do. I can put it in the chat if that's appropriate.
Can you just read the ID number?
Oh, so I have an email.
Because
from
there's a bunch of
Delegate
amendments out there.
Hutchinson's- I have an amendment from Delegate Hutchinson's office, or an email saying that a request has been sent, and that email was from yesterday at 1:34. So I don't know if it's appropriate for maybe this would just be a voice amendment, worst case.
That's fine. Does anyone else have a copy of the amendment? Because I do, and I want to make sure everyone's working off the same thing.
Okay, is it the ones that the delegate sent me? Do you want me to share my screen, Patrick?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Hold on, let me pull that up.
Sometimes when you're working with a new delegate, they don't always know how to keep things in lanes.
Oh, here we go. There was 2 provided for us. Okay. Here's the one. Hold on, let me download it. Open. And then there was 2. There was that one, and then there was, he came back and he gave us another one. This one. I don't know which one this one was. Nope, it's not that one. Okay, let me open the one that I do have. Let's see if I can share my screen. Can you all see that?
Not yet. There we go.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, can you go down?
It
Yeah,
does.
it's in there. Yep.
Yep.
And an
Okay, so
existing raffle
that's even
program.
more updated than I have. Can you go back up top and
Yes,
I will
sir.
take down the number. I will do a reprint with this amendment and send it to Leslie, and she can send it to the subcommittee and everybody on the list. Does that sound fair?
That sounds fair. And I want to call back on Delegate Tarasa, who's been waiting. Patrick, I think I sent this to you. Do you want me to just forward this to you? Because I thought I did.
No, I can get it off the system.
Okay.
Well, there's so many amendments that it's hard to keep them straight on this.
I know. So I got this one. I remember getting something else that like clarified even more. But I want to call on Delegate Tarasa, and then I want to call on I'd like to I know the Farm Bureau had some questions, and I'd like to call on Colby to discuss those. Can I take this down? Very good with this. Yeah. Okay, Delegate Tarasa.
Okay, so first I want to say, thank you, Madam Chair. I want to say that for the same reasons that we would support a ban on hunting contests, or I forget how we phrased it again, for bucks and raccoons and coyotes, I think we shouldn't be supporting killing contests for animals. However, I'm curious what harvesting antlerless deer, what does that mean? Like that harvesting must mean something that.
Antlerless is female.
Okay.
That's what that means.
But what does harvesting mean then?
Harvesting is basically the euphemism for hunting.
Okay, so I guess I just don't understand why we would be supporting this killing contest. And I thought this was excluded from the other bill. So why do we need to pass something to allow for this if it's already allowed?
I'm sorry, excluded? I don't.
So I thought this was excluded from Delegate Stein's bill. This hunting contest. This killing contest was excluded from Delegate Stein's bill in 2021.
If I remember correctly, it's because nothing was, essentially it was a sport and nothing was happening with these animals versus with deer, it was more about a wildlife issue of managing and controlling deer.
And it sounds to me like it was done within the parameters of the license and licensing and the rules from DNR.
Well, why do we need this bill then? If that's allowed and we didn't ban it in 2021, why do we need to pass a bill, this bill?
I think Delegate Jacobs can answer that question, and then I want to go to
Thanks.
I'm sorry, Colby Ferguson, yes.
Right, so the reason I believe they're doing it, and you're not allowed to kill more than the limit, than your
Ag limits, yep.
legal limit allows. So they're not killing more than they're currently allowed to harvest anyway. They're not breaking any law as far as the deer that they would be able to harvest. The reason why they're having the antlerless this program is that a lot of hunters seem to like to hunt deer with antlers and not antlerless. And the antlerless deer are the ones that produce 2 to 3 young every year. And the whole purpose of this bill is to thin the herd, so to speak, so that they're not, eating all the crops and getting blue tongue disease and a number of other things. So it's really a little more of an incentive to harvest antlerless deer, which is what a lot of hunters don't want to do. They want, even though you can't crock pot antlers, they got to shoot them with antlers. So it's really an incentive to harvest more antlerless deer that produce more young. And you're not allowing them to shoot more than they're legally allowed to shoot to begin with.
Okay, can I just to follow up?
Yes,
but the piece I don't understand, I understand even if I disagree with why you're doing these contests or this raffle, why is the bill needed if it's just supporting something that's existing?
Can I let Colby Ferguson speak, Jay?
Certainly, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Even though I'd like to say it's encouraging
Go ahead.
the harvesting of antlerless deer. That's the whole point. Because
Got
they produce a lot of young.
Yeah, no, I understand that part completely. It's just why we need the bill. I totally understand why you're incentivizing the antlerless deer.
Go ahead, Colby.
Thanks, Delegate Strauss. That's a great question. We asked the exact same thing. It was an Attorney General opinion that came out and required that under the 404 language of current law, it's very restrictive on any kind of bargaining or anything. So like I couldn't even go out and hunt and shoot a deer and you pay me for shooting that for you. You literally have to go out and do the hunting yourself. You can't barter wild game. And so the raffle program that's been going since 2019, the AG's opinion came down that they felt that was falling into that restrictive language in 404. Okay. So that's why this bill is being, we were told that to fix this, we needed a bill.
Okay, thank you. That really helps to understand. That's a good clarification. Sure. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
That's why we've got these folks on. And Colby, can I get you to speak to comments made yesterday about specific type of deer?
Sure. I talked to Paul Pedito at Department of Natural Resources earlier today because I wasn't able to be on yesterday. And so he kind of informed me of what you guys talked about. The challenge with this specific option is the Sitka deer, they're non-native. So they're really mainly focused in Dorchester County, but they've started to migrate their way into some of the neighboring counties, but they're not nearly as prolific down. Yeah, there you go. Down in the lower part of it. So like Somerset County and down into there, even though there's still sprinkles of them around, they really came out of the Blackwater Refuge area in Dorchester County and are really condensed there. But you can find them in the surrounding counties. So if you just specifically did it to Sitka, it would make
Wouldn't-
much more sense that it should be in Dorchester County or something like that. That's really not going to address our problem down in the lower shore.
Right. And can you speak to whitetail?
Yeah, so whitetail and I think, this bill came in and, we even supported with amendments and stuff. And so it came in trying to fix the problem and needed to be cleaned up. I like how it's gone from some type of contest to a raffle. I think that keeps it more clean. And I think by doing the antlerless, that defines that it is specifically for a doe harvest type
Uh-oh, you froze.
is really where the most of the damage that's done on the farm fields and lower shores. That's why it probably doesn't need to be differentiated between the two.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying it doesn't need to make the reference for either?
No, and you guys passed a bill out,
Sure.
the comprehensive DNR bill that created the Sick of Deer stamp.
Yep, yep.
So if somebody, if that bill gets finalized and goes into law, then these individuals that would be participating in this doe harvest challenge, if they were to shoot a Sick of Deer, they would have to have a Sick of Deer
That's
stamp
right.
also. So it doesn't preclude the current law. So it would just basically,
Thanks,
you'd
Lindsay.
have to have a license to be able to
Got it.
participate at all.
Got it. Are there any other comments? Does DNR want to make any closing arguments? I think it feels like we're ready to potentially wrap up. Paul or Emily?
I don't think I have anything to add.
Okay. Paul, you have anything to add? Think about?
I'm good, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Well, with that, we do have the amendments before us that, one, put the bill in the right code, two, ensures that it is a quote unquote antlerless deer and or a female deer. We also need to discuss if and this just became evident to me, the word contest is in the title. Is there something else we need to change it to so that it may or may not trigger that what somebody might think this is a some type of killing contest? Delegate Bruce.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt what you were
It's
saying.
okay.
So I've been looking for the amendments to these by email and I can't find where they were sent out, and I don't want to hold things. I don't want to hold things up today, but I just,
I can forward them right now.
Thank you so much.
I can forward both of them.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Can you forward it to me?
I'm forwarding them to everyone right now.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
And a reminder for everybody, you want to look at the amendment for House Bill 934/253/423/1. That is the correct one, I believe.
Oh, wait a minute, then this is not it.
Could you read that number again, Patrick?
253/423/1.
Amendment number one. Here it is.
Yeah, I found the older one, but I don't have that
I have
one.
the new one. It's right here. Hold on.
Thank you.
Just give me 1 minute and we can have an opportunity to look it over. Maybe take 5 minutes, 10 if we need, and then we will briefly discuss and then vote.
Is the full committee voting on Monday? Did they say?
Yes, 12 o'clock. I put it in the chat.
Well, if you want to give everybody the weekend, and then we could have a quick meeting right before and I can have everything ready.
If you don't, if you don't think it's gonna hold up the process, I don't want to hold up.
I would have everything ready to go for that voting session.
Okay. That means we would.
And in the
potentially meet
meantime,
at 11:30.
and in the meantime, I can get a reprint out to everybody. I can get it out to you and hopefully you can send it to the people on the list, which is the subcommittee and all the advocates.
I'm sending it right now.
Madam Chair, I don't want to hold things up. I'm fine if I can just take a quick look you know,
Okay,
on what we're
just-
voting on.
No problem. I'm.
If everybody
sending
else
out
is
to
okay
everyone
with that.
right now. I'm always.
good to
going
go.
miss one person, Otto. Jacobs. And I'm gonna add Lindsay, I'm gonna add Colby. And I'm gonna add Emily, and I'm gonna add Jennifer. I hate this system. It doesn't allow me to, can Colby and Jennifer put their emails in the chat very quickly? This is not like Google where like the emails stay in there forever. It's like if I use it within the like last day, it'll work, but if not, it's like it just forgets it.
Yeah.
Stinks. Colby, can you throw yours in there too? Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, and I find depending on which computer I'm on, sometimes I use the Outlook app and sometimes I use the website, and they're not consistent as to
At all.
remembering email addresses.
At all, it stinks. And does anybody else want to be added that I haven't mentioned? That's enough. I'm gonna forward it. Ruth, Stein, Addison, I have twice. Baker, Ziegler, Allen, Otto, Jacobs. I think that's the team. And I'm sending it now. Okay, I just sent it. So we want to do a Jeopardy break and just hold out in about, I say 32, 3:38. Just hold out, have a moment of silence and check back in.
Wait,
That works.
3:38.
3:48. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Here, we'll just hold tight here.
And Madam Chair, I just sent you a reprint.
Thank you, sir.
That was quick work.
By who? Oh, and Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
Delegate Otto told me he's going to put in a letter to withdraw House Bill 467.
Yes, you did tell me that.
Okay.
And just for clarity for everyone, this would only be in the month of January.
It's also serving as an incentive in January to get people
Yes.
out.
Got
to
it.
do this,
Yep.
to call the herd.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm good.
Madam Chair, I'd move the amendment.
Second.
And I appreciate that. I just want to make sure everyone else is finished. They have 2
All right,
minutes.
understand.
But you have a motion on the floor.
In the second.
Yes. Yes,
I'm not supporting it, but I'm good for us moving forward, for whatever that's worth.
I just want to check in with everyone else. Everyone else good to move on?
Yep.
Okay, we have a first and a second on the floor, all in favor of the amendments. Say aye.
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 Oppose.
Move the bill as amended.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the bill as amended, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Opposed?
Thank you, madam. Bill moves favorable with amendments to the committee. First of all, I'd like to say thank you all so much. This is, this is not easy. I am not a hunter. I don't live in a place where there's hunting. I do appreciate and respect all of the thoughts and opinions here. So I hope everyone at least felt heard here, even maybe if it did not go their way. I hope that in the future we can learn more about this so that we can make informed decisions as it relates to where somebody else lives, and not necessarily where we live. Because again, I do want to understand the issue, but I deeply, deeply, deeply understand and respect the fact that not everybody feels comfortable with this and not everybody likes this for whatever reason. And those reasons are certainly allowable, and they are certainly with reasons. So I do want to put that out there, and I do want to thank you all for your help. And I want to thank the committee. I want to thank Patrick for being here on Saturday. And most importantly, I want to thank everyone who came in on the call between Colby and DNR, Paul and Emily and Jennifer and Lindsay, who I know is home with sick babies. And so I thank you so much. We don't take it for granted, but this is certainly the process that we go through. Delegate Ruth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to thank you for leading a robust and respectful discussion and helping us get to resolution. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Ditto.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen. I know this is the bane of your existence. I know. But one day we'll have some sort of kumbaya or continued just boxing match. I think we'll just put folks in a boxing match and box it out. So this ends our subcommittee hearing. Damn it.
It's a great note to end on.
And the meeting is ended. Have a great week.